Oh, I think it just moved. Yep, it's moving. Yes. Well, today I'm working on the 05 Envoy. We have a check engine light, and it's a code P0130, which is the O2 sensor circuit, bank 1, sensor 1. And the engine in this vehicle is a 4.2 liter inline 6-cylinder, which means we only have one exhaust manifold and two O2 sensors, one before the cat and one after the cat. In this case, the code is referring to the first O2 sensor up here before the cat. And if we look from the top of the engine here straight down, one of the first things we see is this heat shield here for the exhaust manifold. But if we keep looking down, we can see that O2 sensor right there. And that, my friends, is the sensor we're after. Now, the thing about O2 sensors, they're not always easy to get to. This one just so happens to be easy to get to. However, there is a caveat. Looking closely, we can see that the nut on the O2 sensor itself is somewhat sunken in. So there's really nowhere to get a typical wrench on there. And that's where this comes in. This is a 3/8 offset oxygen sensor socket. And this is going to allow me to get on that nut sunken inside that heat shield there and, well, hopefully allow me to loosen that oxygen sensor and remove it. And just to illustrate what I'm talking about, if I take this wrench and try to get down in there on that nut, well, you can see it's just not gonna work. Okay, so let's see if we can use a deep well socket. And I'm sure I could get that on there, but that means I would have to cut the wire. And where is my ratchet gonna go? There is just no room with all of this stuff above it. Now onto this tool we're gonna be using today. You can see there is a cutout in the socket there, and that is so you can slip it right over the wire. And it is offset. So now I'm on the O2 sensor. I can spin it any which way I want. And if I can take it off here, you can see right here, this is where I'd put my ratchet. So this tool is the perfect tool to try to remove this O2 sensor. In conjunction with that offset O2 socket, I'm gonna be using this Craftsman V-Series 3/8 long reach flex head ratchet. Being a long reach ratchet and a flex head, I had plenty of opportunity to maneuver this thing down there to get on this socket quite easily. Let's see if we can loosen this O2 sensor. Sometimes they are very stuck on there. I have not put any lube or anything, but let's see if I can move it. Oh, I think it just moved. Yep, it's moving. Yes. Now, before I go too far loosening that O2 sensor, I want to unplug it, and thankfully the plug is also right here with easy access. You can see there's a little lock right there. Just lift that up, and there we go. And instead of trying to remove the plug with this little clip out of this metal tab here, I decided to just remove that clip off of the plug itself. So we are completely disconnected from the vehicle. And now we can just remove the O2 sensor the rest of the way. And look at that, I can just spin it with my fingers. That could not have gone easier. Look at that. And here's that original O2 sensor. I'm pretty sure this is original to the vehicle, being that I've owned this vehicle since about 25,000 miles or so. I'm not seeing any corrosion. Nothing is really standing out to me, but it is from 2005. So maybe something internally has failed. Regardless, we are getting a code for this saying the sensor has failed. So we're gonna replace it. Now for the replacement, I normally recommend going with OEM, Original Equipment Manufacturer, GM AC Delco, especially obviously for this GMC. But this time I decided to go with this Denso unit. Now there's two reasons I decided to go with Denso. Number one, it was more affordable. Who doesn't like affordability? Number two though, is probably even more important, and that is on my 05 Toyota 4Runner, they use a lot of Denso parts. For example, the ignition coils. I just went through and replaced every one of the original equipment ignition coils on that 4Runner with brand new units from Denso, and they were literally the exact same units that came on that truck from 05. I was so impressed with the quality of those Denso ignition coils that I made a note to myself and said, hey, if I ever need more parts and Denso's an option, well, I'm probably gonna go that route if they're cheaper, and well, here we are. So here's the exact part number I'll be using, and if you look even closer, it says assembled in the USA. Let's take it out of the box and see what it looks like. Well, it looks like they give you some copper anti-seize, and here's both O2 sensors side by side, and you can see they look almost identical. You can see on the old one there, it definitely looks a bit cooked, which is probably exactly why it's failed. These upstream O2 sensors go through a lot of heat cycles being attached right there to the exhaust manifold, so it makes all the sense in the world that these things don't last forever. One interesting side note here on this metal sleeve here, it does say Japan right on it. For installation, I'm definitely going to use the included copper anti-seize, and I'll just put a little on the threads there. You don't really need a whole lot. Something like that, and that's even probably a little too much. All right, and once you got that as tight as you can get it with your fingers, we can just start tightening it with our socket. That should do it. All right, I have the O2 sensor fully screwed in. All we have to do now is connect the electrical plug. On this Denso unit, you can see they included a new clip right there on the plug. That is very convenient. Now I can grab a pair of pliers and rip this old one out. And I do like to put a little bit of silicone grease on these plugs just to help them with waterproofing. Hopefully this way, not only can they go together good, come apart good, but they're a little bit more waterproof. And here's our two plugs. And they go together very, very simply. And this new clip simply just pushes in. One thing I never do is throw away old parts if I can help it. I put that original sensor back in this box and labeled it just in case. You never know in the future if perhaps this one goes bad. I can always swap this one in and see if there's a change. I don't know if this one's even bad. We're gonna find out once we start this car up and clear the codes if, you know, everything is fine and maybe it's perhaps running better and the code doesn't come back over time. But as is the case a lot of the times with these old vehicles, when we work on them and we get a code thrown, you never know if the code was thrown specifically for this or if this was acting up because of something else. You catch my drift there? So we'll see. I'm pretty sure that the computer was throwing this code because this is bad. It's very common for these O2 sensors to go bad. Like I was saying, this is upstream, screwed directly into the exhaust manifold. It goes through a lot of heat cycles, and so these are prone to fail. These things don't last forever. So let's start this Envoy and clear the codes, see how she runs. Okay, let's get in here and clear this code. Erase codes. Erase trouble codes, are you sure? Yes. Erase done. Okay, we can see codes found, none. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start this thing up. All right, of course it'll take some time to know whether this code comes back, but everything seems to be running pretty good. Well, I just took the Envoy out for a spin and everything went just fine. No check engine lights on the dash, and the car seems to be running a little bit smoother. Listening to the engine right now, it sounds nice and smooth, except for the fact that I can hear that alternator going around a little bit. And looking at the dash here, we can see there are no lights. But just in case, let's go ahead and look up if we have any codes in the computer. Codes found, 0. Mil status off, no codes stored, no pending codes. So what is the takeaway from this video? Well, I've shown you a few things. I've shown you what an O2 sensor looks like, how to replace an O2 sensor, the special tools you might need to get into tight spots for those O2 sensors. I've even shown you a new brand you may be able to look to if you don't necessarily want to go with OEM, and maybe Denso is a little less expensive. This one that I had looked really good, looked almost exactly like the original unit coming out. On the box it said assembled in the USA. On the part itself there was a piece that said Japan on there. It seems like it's gonna be a great part. So if you don't necessarily wanna go OEM, or you can't because it just costs so much, Denso might be a good way to go. As for that specialty O2 sensor socket I showed you, I bought that at Harbor Freight and I think it was like $8 or $9. Not very expensive at all. Well, as with anything DIY automotive fix related, only time will tell if the O2 sensor actually was at fault or if there's something else going on that's causing the O2 sensor to throw a fault code or something like that. P0130, you know, the car did seem like it was running a little smoother and I did not get that code back and I probably just drove, I don't know, 10 miles. So O2 sensors, they can be really easy like the one that we just saw here in my car, or they can be an absolute pain. If you're changing an O2 sensor and you watched this video to try to figure out how to do it and what tools you might need, what parts you might want to buy, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed it. And the very last thing I'll say here is make sure you always resort to your manufacturer's recommended parts, manufacturer's recommended operations and methods of changing things, and if in doubt, take your car to a licensed mechanic. I am just a DIY guy here in my garage, like many of you, doing the very best I can. So this video is not for educational purposes. This video is simply for entertainment purposes. I am Jimmy with One Road, and I will see you in the next one.